Hey, it's Dave. Welcome to my channel, my yard sale. Hey, today I want to talk about if either you or if you know somebody who works out, I'm not going to say hard, but works out regularly, works out consistently, and maybe works out hard and doesn't seem to make any gains in muscle structure or muscles. First, I'm going to talk about how it's supposed to work. You're supposed to work out muscles. Your body gets the signal from the muscle, from the cells, that it needs nutrients. It signals insulin to deliver those nutrients. So then you have the nutrients to gain muscle, to get bigger, to get thick. That's how it's supposed to work. But if you've had a bad diet or not a good diet for years, probably years, 5 to 10 years, you become what's called insulin resistant. And even if the muscle or the cells call for the nutrient, the insulin delivers the nutrient to the cell. But if the cell is insulin resistant, it can't absorb the nutrient. So you're obviously not going to build muscle. You're not going to get thick. You're not going to bow up because your body doesn't accept the nutrients. That's called insulin resistance. And what happened to me is I became insulin resistant. Not only did I worked out every day. I would do hundreds of push-ups. I would lift weights. Not only did I not get bigger, I actually got skinnier and skinnier, especially in areas where there should be a good amount of muscle mass. Like my calves got very skinny, my legs got very skinny, and eventually my arms got very skinny, and then I turned into what looked like a ghost. So the interesting thing is you won't feel this. There is indicators, there are signals, like if you have skin issues, if you have, again, neuropathy, weird things with your eyesight, those are indicators that there is potentially insulin resistance happening. But the very first thing that I noticed is I would work out so hard and I just could not gain muscle. I just didn't work. And actually I can think about this going back many, many years, maybe even 20 years back. And it wasn't because I ate only garbage, but I got to be honest, I ate a lot of sugar. I drank a lot of alcohol, always. And I maybe had a lot of rice and noodles, and I was never focused on the meat. I was always focused on all the other stuff. So I was always skinny. I was always thin. Even when I started actually doing structured workouts, I still couldn't gain the weight. So you may not have gotten an A1C. You may have gotten an A1C blood test. Maybe you know you're diabetic or pre-diabetic. And this way you'll have a definite answer as to what it very possibly could be, and you can make the changes to start making things better and resolve on the positive side. But if you haven't gotten a blood test, you don't know if you're diabetic, pre-diabetic, or potentially insulin resistant. How would you know? Well, I can tell you that if you're eating quite a bit, if you're eating a lot, whether it be the right food or not the right food, if you're eating the carbs, you're working out, and you're not gaining muscle, there's a possibility that you're eating the wrong things and you are insulin resistant. It's quite a possibility. Now, once you think to yourself, okay, so this could be me. Maybe I've eaten garbage for 5 years, for 10 years, maybe for 20 years, maybe your entire life. And you've finally gotten to the point where you're so insulin resistant that it's starting to be noticeable and things are happening that are not exactly positive outcomes, what do you do? How do you turn this around? How do you fix this? Well, the first thing is you have to eat right. What is eating right? Eating right is eating meat, and I'm not suggesting that you become a carnivore, because I have done that, and it has resolved and helped things in my particular situation, but it's not easy just to eat meat all the time. It's easy to eat meat some of the time. It's not bad, but it's hard to eat meat all the time. Um, so I'm going to strongly suggest ketovore. So you're going to eat a lot of meat, but you're going to eat vegetables and maybe fruit. You got to stay away from the garbage, though. You got to stay away from the seed oils, the highly processed food. You can't eat Pop-Tarts. You can't eat cookies. And it's not that even cookies are that bad. It's just if you look at the ingredients of the cookies that you eat, look at the ingredients of an Oreo. Half the ingredients aren't even an ingredient. They're a processed product. And that messes up your system and will elevate insulin resistance. So you're going to want to eat correctly. And I'm going to say that when I realized this and I turned things around and I started eating, I took all the garbage out of my diet and started eating higher quality food. I'm going to say that I started feeling, I didn't get bowed up or muscular, but I started feeling muscle actually building and growing within a period of 60 days, 90 days, 3 months. So if you start today eating correctly and take all the garbage out of your diet, in 90 days, you should start seeing some of the results of your workouts and your actual positive physical outcomes. It could be sooner. It could take longer. But you're going to start seeing positive things happening. Hey, if you have any questions, do me a favor and ask them below. I'll tell you my story. I'll tell you exactly, how I felt, how it felt, how things felt, how things are continuing to get better over the long term. So again, if you're working out and you're not seeing the results that you think you should see, maybe if you work out with a buddy and your buddy eats well and he's getting or she's getting, physically stronger and better and you're not, maybe it has to do with what you're eating and what you're feeding your body. And again, it goes back to insulin resistance. If you aren't insulin sensitive, your cells, your body are not going to get the nutrient. It's just not possible. It can't happen. If you're insulin resistant, not only is your cells going to not get the nutrients they need, but you're going to actually lose weight. You're going to lose cell structure. You're going to lose bone mass, which is kind of interesting how that works. So again, first, change your diet. I would say highly moderate use of alcohol if you use it. Low seed oils. Stay away from the seed oils. And I do remember I specifically used a lot of vegetable oil to fry tofu, to fry, stir fry. I did a lot of that in the beginning, starting to realize that I was not healthy. And I think that actually maybe made my case worse, I think. And it took many years to resolve that. So no seed oils, highly processed foods you got to stay away from. If a food has 1 or 2 ingredients, go get it. That's actually good. If you can't pronounce the ingredients, probably not a great idea. Doesn't mean you can't have it now and then. It just means that as a staple, you probably should stay away from it. Stick to a ketovore, carnivore diet. I prefer the ketovore because I just kind of need to eat vegetables. even if they have oxalates and lectins and all the other stuff that people will say that you can't really, you shouldn't eat those things. I'm willing to span my recovery out much longer and have a little bit of vegetables. I kind of need vegetables and fruit in my diet. So yeah, stay away from the highly modified foods. Stay away from the seed oils. And probably within, I don't know, 60 to 90 days, you may not physically see yourself bulking up, but you can actually feel it. If you feel weak in a place where you shouldn't, if you do calf raises or exercise your calves regularly and you just can't seem to bulk up there, as soon as your insulin sensitivity is normal, it's going to become kind of uncomfortable in your calves. Like you're going to gain mass and not weight, but you're going to gain mass in your actual calf or your bicep or your tricep pretty quickly, and it's going to be quite uncomfortable. And that's, again, 60 to 90 days in. And again, going back to that A1C, if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, this is a discussion, a conversation that is specifically applicable to you. And you're going to know what I'm talking about when you work out. You know, you start walking quite a bit more, and you don't seem to be gaining muscle. Yet, as soon as you change your diet and you make your diet correct, all of a sudden you're going to start feeling that muscle growing and getting thicker in your body. Again, if there's any questions, this is my particular experience. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a healthcare specialist. I'm not even actually that smart when it comes to health, considering the fact that, you know, I'm having the hardest health situation in my entire life. And I'm sharing it with people to hopefully help them avoid it. I hope this is interesting. I hope this is helpful. And again, I do answer questions. I answer all questions. And I'll add other content if that makes sense, if it seems like people want to hear a little bit more about any of this situation that I've dealt with. But again, going back to the very beginning, if you work out, you think you eat right, but you can't gain muscle mass, there's one definite reason that it could be, and that is insulin resistance. And you can gain that muscle mass by turning that insulin resistance to insulin sensitivity. And you do that by eating right. You have to definitely take the garbage out of your diet. You can't eat sugar. Highly processed foods aren't good for you. And just eating correctly, your body will respond pretty quickly. And you won't be able to see the mass, the muscle mass in your body, but you'll definitely feel it. It's actually quite uncomfortable. Anyways, I hope this is helpful. I hope this is interesting. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.